Okay, sorry. All right, I'd like to open the April 24th Town Council meeting. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, a couple announcements. Let's see, I got 4th of Conservation. They're heading up the Earth Day this Saturday, April 26th, 8 to 1 p.m. They'll be right over there at the 86 4th Center Road, DPW grounds and the fairgrounds. If you pick up your own trash and bring it there, they'll give you a t-shirt. That's one right here. So you want to get a t-shirt, that's how you do. Forster Preservation is actually doing a historical cemetery tour Saturday, May 3rd at 10 a.m. So if you want to learn how to clean the headstones or repair them, feel free to go out there. I want to thank Forster Recreation and the Libraries of Forster for their and the volunteers for organizing the Easter egg hunt at the fairgrounds. It was well attended, so it was a job well done. A lot of kids there. It was great to see. All right, that's all I have for announcements. Public comments, Ms. Tibbetts. There you go.
And just bring the perfect.
Okay,
You're live.
am I on now? Thank you. Hi, Linda Tibbetts, Mill Road. I'm here not representing the land trust. I'm here with a concern that I, as a private citizen, have. But it is because of the land trust, because it is something I have to present to the land trust at our next meeting. And that is because the capital budget that the land trust submitted to the town, and I had been to the workshop, and there weren't questions about it. And I was at the preliminary budget hearing, and it was the same request that I had presented. But yet at the April 10th meeting, somehow the request was changed. And it certainly seems like an ethical problem that the town council didn't contact the land trust before doing this. There was no other workshop to attend. So I need to be able to explain this to the land trust trustees, to explain what happened. And I was hoping the town council could kind of give me a heads up.
We can put on an agenda item for next meeting.
That will be way too late because the town financial meeting happens to be May 6th, which is before the next meeting. And if we had been notified, I could have said something to get onto this agenda, but we weren't informed. I just, it's a
No, yeah.
it's a $120,000 less of capital funds that we had requested is not on the budget that will be presented at the town financial meeting. And well, it would have been nice to have known or to be able to defend our line items.
Yeah, so right now, unfortunately, we can't speak about it because it's not on the agenda for tonight.
I understand that.
So I
think I really just wanted to get a public announcement out there that something changed. And it seems a little difficult to explain. There was no way I could present this to the last land trust meeting, which we had after the effect, but we hadn't been officially informed if this was true or not. So I went to the town offices today to see the amended budget and see that this actually did happen. So
which we already voted on. Yeah, like it's unfortunately because it's not on the agenda, we can't discuss it.
You can't discuss it. Okay. You can't even give me information that I can present to the land trust?
No, we cannot.
So be it.
Well, the meeting was recorded, right?
Yeah.
I think I can because I'm not on
Kelly
the
can.
council,
Mhm.
but regardless,
The
Linda, I don't have new
agendas,
information
It-
other than what I provided you today.
Yes, I
Did have a
Kelly's,
workshop.
thankfully, she spent almost 2 hours with me today trying to explain it.
Yeah.
But we didn't hear from the town council, and it would be, I didn't attend any workshop that changed any of the budgets. There was no agenda posted for another workshop before the April 10th meeting. I didn't think it was necessary to attend it, so no one from the land trust happened to have
We had
been
another
at that.
workshop.
Right.
Yeah, we did have
It's
another
not-
workshop. It was posted.
And it was
But-
posted on the Secretary of State's website. We were very sure about this.
I have a copy
And that was it. That's one meeting.
I have a screenshot of the town's website where they post all the agendas, and there's no workshop on
It
it.
was
Well,
on
it was on the Secretary of State website. That's where legally.
Sounds a little fishy, but thank you for your time.
As I explained to her earlier today, the problem was that the one before it had been canceled because it wasn't properly
Right.
posted, so we had to
We had to
file
do
it, like, yes. Right, it was on the agenda and I did, as far as the workshop, that's it. Like, I went over all this with her.
Okay, Ms. Ryder?
This is also somewhat about that land trust issue. I was at that second or whatever budget workshop just before a meeting where this was brought up. And I know that, I believe I said, shouldn't land trust be here? And it was said, well, they know all about it because they're the ones who brought it to our attention. So I'm not sure how this came about, but my main question is, and I know you can't answer it now, but I will be raising it again at the financial town meeting. If according to the charter, 100% of the conveyance tax goes to the land trust. The conveyance tax does not come out of our pool of taxpayers per se. Yes, it comes from taxpayers, but just like grants, federal grants and state grants, yeah, it all comes from taxpayers. That by cutting 120,000, that money does not go into our budget to benefit anything else in town. And it seems its only purpose is to stop the land trust or slow down the land trust in land acquisition. And it's my understanding that by not giving that 120,000 to the land trust, that money then goes into an account for the land trust. Am I wrong?
It doesn't come out of the land trust, so it stays in the land.
Stays
trust.
in.
It's
It
not like
stays in
goes
the
back
land
in.
trust. So it's like, what's the point? You're hamstringing the land trust. I know you can't, but I'm just saying I'm going to bring that up.
Thank you. Consent agenda?
I make a motion, we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second,
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
aye.
Opposed? All right, I'd like to open the public hearing for licensing for Joe's Towing.
I can read that notice.
Yep.
Notice is hereby given by the Foster Town Council, being the licensing board in said town, that a public hearing will be held on April 24th, 2025 at 6 p.m. at the Benjamin Eddy Building, 6 South Killingley Road, Foster, Rhode Island. Marvin J. Nadiger Jr. and Marvin J. Nadiger III, DBA Joe's Towing of 93 Danielson Pike, Foster, Rhode Island, has applied to said council for a business license for the year ending December 31st, 2025.
The public hearing is open. Joe, would you like to present the Business, okay. Any abutters that would like to speak? No butters, okay. Anyone with the town like to speak? Go ahead.
My name's Adam Dacko, 119A Central Pike. I've known Joe and his family now for the last 15 years. I have the utmost respect for him and his family. And I just hope that the business passes tonight because I think it would be an asset to the town. Thank you.
Thank you.
I agree with Adam. If the council is speaking now, nobody else was going to speak. The property looks great. You've done a lot of work over there. You've cleaned it up. I know you've had some delays along the way, but I think, you know, adding another business to town is what we need. And so I am totally in favor of approving this application.
So I'll entertain a motion.
Let me just, yeah, I want to make the motion. Okay, I make a motion to approve the application for, or applied for by Marvin J. Natiger Jr. and Marvin J. Natiger III, doing business as Joe's Towing at 93 Danielson Pike.
Okay.
Providing all, I think all the sign offs have
Right.
been, yeah,
Second.
okay.
Yep, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion?
No.
All in favor?
I,
Opposed?
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you
Good luck, guys.
for your patience and perseverance.
Yes.
All right, zoning ordinances. Second hearing. Chapter 38. 272. Okay, I think most of these were edits. Just replacing words. We can go one by one. If anyone has any questions. 38, 272, yard exceptions. Going to, no, it would just until, yeah. Any questions on yard exceptions? Okay. 38, 277, sewage disposal. No questions on sewage disposal? 38, 286. Any questions on off-street parking requirements? Yep, absolutely.
I'm just wondering, because this has been discussed so often at so many different times, I've lost track. Is there any prohibitions or as far as parking anything? You know, I mean, at one point, we were talking about weights, we were talking about size, we were talking about this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah, that's not.
So,
You have the change.
You have them right there,
Thank you.
Jeff.
Thank
so, just as far as the off-street requirements, are you asking about commercial vehicles?
The what?
Are you asking about commercial vehicles in,
Yes.
in AR zones?
Yes.
So the language stipulates that, in the AR zoning, that the parking of 3 commercial vehicles and up to including class 6 vehicle, as classified by the Federal Highway Administration, or heavy-duty vehicle class 6, and as long as those vehicles are registered to a permanent resident or a business owner, maybe parking will be permitted.
So it's eliminated.
Yes, a limit of 3. Yep.
All right, 38, 287, off-street loading requirements. Any questions on that?
No.
Okay. 38, 289, historic cemeteries. Pretty, that's right on general law.
Mhm.
No questions?
No.
38, 321. Procedure generally and issuance of modifications. Oh, that was simple change.
So this is just to achieve consistency with,
A lot of them are,
Yeah.
right, with just to conform with Rhode Island general laws,
exactly.
yeah.
38, 322. Applicability of article. Any questions? 38-324, issuance of variances and special use permits. Questions there? 38-325, unified development review. Just around general law.
Mhm.
Any questions? 38-386, requirements and purpose of article. Questions on that one?
That was
That was-
submitting a site plan review. Yes.
Right.
Okay.
And also a language change amending planning board to, what we're talking about 386, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Amends planning board to permitting authority for the site plan review.
Right.
that's pretty much all the way through, right? For
Yeah.
the permitting authority. Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
38-387, pre-application conference. Any questions on that one? Okay. 38-388, contents of site plan.
That's just
Permitting
changing it to
application,
permitting
right.
authority. Yeah.
38-467. Development not requiring planning board or zoning board approval.
So this is about vesting rights, and it just changes language from the date upon which the application is certified as opposed to when it happened.
When.
So it has to be the
Yep,
date.
yep. Actual date. 38-468, development requiring planning board approval. That's the Rhode Island general law change. Any questions? No? No. 38-469, development requiring zoning board approval. Questions on that one? And 38-470, development requiring both planning and zoning board approval. Any questions on that one?
No, do you want a motion for this section of them before we move on to the next?
Yes,
Okay.
I would make a motion for each one.
Okay.
And put them all together,
Yes.
please.
Okay, I will make a motion to approve the following sections as presented by the planning board. Section 38-272, section 38-277, section 38-286, section 38-287, section 38-289, section 38-321, section 38-322, section 38-324, section 38-325, section 38-386, section 38-387, section 38-388, section 38-467, section 38-468, section 38-469, and section 38-470.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, moving on to chapter 18, nuisance ordinance. This is also second hearing. It was continued from 313. I actually have. I have a letter. Yeah. From a resident, that couldn't be here, so I'm gonna read the letter first. Dear members of the Foster Town Council, my name is Dana Bishop from 168 Old Plainfield Pike in Foster. I am writing you to voice support for dark sky ordinances to cover both new residential and commercial development. I attended the March meeting and was concerned when I heard that the dark sky ordinances were only to apply to commercial properties. While I support dark sky ordinance being applied to commercial development, most of the development occurring within Foster is residential development. I think it is not possible to maintain our dark skies without this ordinance being applied to new residential development. The character of our rural community is at stake. As the home to the Seagrave Observatory and Skyscrapers, Inc., I believe we have an obligation to protect and enhance our night skies. With the advent of digital telescopes, the hobby of amateur astronomy is exploding, and Foster has become a destination for dark sky seekers and astronomers. Modern LED lighting offers a challenge and an opportunity as Foster strives to achieve the goals of its comprehensive plan. On one hand, downward facing LED lighting provides light in a directional focused nature that does not reflect and provides better illumination than standard lighting. On the other hand, misdirected and unshaded LED lighting can be much brighter, It also can be manipulated in ways that unnecessarily contribute to light pollution. I would propose that as part of the building permit process, all new construction should submit an exterior lighting plan to ensure the new properties are not going to install the following: LED strip lighting, LED rope lighting, and permanent decorative LED house lighting, upwards facing landscape lighting, and house front lighting, upwards facing and unshaded driveway and parking lot lighting, unshaded spot lighting. She provided examples just as pictures. I believe the dark skies of Foster are one of our town's greatest assets. Every time friends from work come to our house, they can't get over the skies and the stars we have here just 17 miles away. I would like to see Foster strive to maintain its dark skies as mentioned in the comprehensive plan. I may not have a view of the ocean from my house, but on a clear night, I can see the entirety of the Andromeda galaxy.
Andromeda.
Andromeda. That's what it says? Yes, that one. And several other celestial wonders from my backyard. I would guess that many of us live in Foster because we like living in the country and enjoying the night sky. If my opinion is not shared by the majority of our residents, then please disregard these statements. The will of the people should prevail in this matter. Thank you for your time. Sincerely, Dana Fisher. So she couldn't be here, so that's why I wanted to read the letter.
Mr. President, may I just ask you, I think you have a revised ordinance, right?
Yes.
From,
Mhm.
Yes, we
okay,
do.
yes.
Yes, we do.
Do we
Yeah,
need that,
yeah, we gotta-
that red?
Yeah. Yeah. I got it.
And this, right,
had
or
enough of-
Joyce, do you wanna just,
Read
Kind
the, read the new parts.
well, yeah, or just like summarize it for us?
I was
or
hoping
for
that
everybody here?
Joanna would be here to, I don't know if you,
Yeah, because
you-
she actually helped me write it.
she's the one that wrote it.
Mm,
The section 8, so please. Okay. 1833 is unchanged and 1834 definitions are unchanged. The first changes come in section 1835. And most of the changes that our solicitor made were to remove the residential, the single family residentials.
Mhm.
And in some instances, she simplified the language and just made it a little bit less complicated, which was wonderful. So I don't know.
My name's Stacy
Stacy.
Johnson. I'm
Stacy.
attorney with their, Joanne, I'm covered for Joanne.
Okay, wonderful. So I don't know if you want to say what she changed. I mean, she basically in 1835, she took out the reference to residences. Yeah.
You know,
That makes it easier. So I spoke with Joanna about this and all of the changes that she made have to do with
Yeah.
just taking out the residential component as discussed at the first reading, which I obviously was not here for.
Yeah.
So.
And does this apply to new businesses, not existing businesses?
Correct.
Right, so where like new existing businesses aren't gonna have to go and change lighting. This is strictly for new.
And that was the case all along. So
Yes.
that's.
Okay,
not-
I just wanted
yeah,
to clarify.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
case all
yeah.
along.
The only changes she made were with
Residential.
respect
Yes.
to residential.
Yes.
Correct.
So the 1835 has a change related to that. Section 1836, that she, Joanna eliminated and simplified some of the language under directional lighting control, directional fixtures. I unfortunately didn't bring the original version, so I'm not comparing it to that. And then section 1837, again, had minor changes, removing residential, references to residential. Section 1838 enforcement was vastly simplified. And section 1839 was also simplified, removing a couple of the points in there. Yeah.
I think this was a good compromise.
Yeah.
I think it was a really good compromise.
Yeah.
But instead of throwing the baby out with the bathwater and rejecting the whole thing, I think this is I think this is
Well,
a good compromise.
I
yes.
appreciate her efforts and she did a great job with it.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, and like I said in the first meeting, one of the things that we noticed is when you do look west, what do you see? It's
Yeah.
the lights, but it's all
Yeah.
commercial.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's really what we wanted to focus on.
Yep.
You know, I still, even, you know, with 5 acre minimum, I don't see us building so many residential properties that's gonna affect our dark skies.
Right.
So that's why we brought that. to
Yeah.
the change.
Does anybody else want to
Yeah,
speak? or-
yeah, Ms. Ryder.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, thinking to the future. Our residential lighting is not like most residential lighting. Most resident, you got a porch light, maybe you have a post light, and that's about it. We have spotlights, a lot of spotlights. And I do think that at some point in the future, this is going to need to be addressed because people just have the naked big spots out there. And I know I don't, the next house is pretty far away from me through the woods, but I can see their spotlight through the woods. And I think that the kind of lighting people in Foster tend to put up is much more apt to interfere with dark sky. Unbeknownst to them perhaps, but I know I have a neighbor that's got a big giant spotlight on a telephone pole. And if it just had a cover, it wouldn't be in my face, and I'm across the road and about 400 feet in.
Yeah.
So just, I think this is an issue that's going to come up again.
So that's what we discussed the last meeting too, where, I think the best thing to do is talk to your neighbor. And because one of the things in the original submission was enforcement. To enforce residential was going to be really hard on the town's part to actually enforce that. And to put more on residential and, well, the original was if they want to change a light on the existing house that was built in 1890, they would have to comply with
Right.
dark sky. Who's going to track that? Who's going to enforce that? There's no way for us to do that. So to put more hindrance on residents, I mean, commercial, that's just part of a check mark. It's very easy for them to fix that, make sure they abide by the dark sky. That's why that's one of the main reasons we took off the residential.
Well, I think one of the things is education, and it would be nice if the town would
And we can still do that.
sponsor some sort
Yeah, we can still do that.
of education. Something in the Foster Home Journal, have workshops. I know Bob Horton is more than happy to do his thing. Because it's difficult, well, as you know, in anything, to make people aware in this town.
Mhm.
And it is an issue.
Thank you. So I will entertain a motion for chapter 18, and if you want to go through it, yeah.
I will make a motion to approve the following ordinances presented by the planning board. And these are under nuisance ordinances.
Yeah.
Section 18-33, section 18-34, section 18-35, section 18-36, section 18-37, section 18-38, section 18-39.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes. Old business. The rumble strip on Route 101. So I spoke with DOT, Steve, Purcell. So we made some adjustments to what they requested. I like the adjustments, but we'll bring it to a vote here. They're not gonna be on the white line. They're only gonna be on the center line. They're not gonna be at any of the intersections, okay, which they can't do anyway. They're also not gonna put them at any place there's a dedicated turn lane. And I explained to him, I said, the road narrows down because of the turn lanes. Those turn lanes are always gonna get hit. They're always gonna run over the rumble strips on those turn lanes. There's only a couple. You got Ann and Wade, in Boss Road. They did put it on the one on 6, but it's already there. But I disagree with the turn lanes because like I said, it does narrow down. People are gonna come over early and they're gonna get into that turn lane and they are gonna hit that rumble strip every single time. So
You're falling animals, not a good look.
also, correct. So, so he did agree on that. So he's not gonna do the turn lanes. He's not gonna do the white line. It's only gonna be on the yellow line. I think it is a good safety feature. I think 101 being more residential, it's a very smoother, calm ride. More people do doze off. You know, I used to run with the fire department, so I've seen it multiple times. So they do doze off, and if that's what it takes to wake them up, it works. So I do agree with it. But I will entertain a motion to submit this back to the state for approval.
Sorry. Okay. All right. hang on. Do you have an actual proposal from them that we're going to approve, or we're just,
That-
how do you want to do
So
this?
I'd like to have their proposal for the rumble strips approved based on
Okay.
what I just discussed.
Okay, and is that something that we sign at a different time?
It's not
I'm
gonna be
just,
signature. So
okay,
basically what's happening now is, which I appreciated and I thanked him, they don't have to come to us.
no, I know, I
Yeah, so
understand. They,
I'm kind of-
it's a state road. They can
Right,
do
they
what they
could have,
want.
they could have just did it. I mean, they
Okay.
did it on Route 6
Mhm.
and they just, you know, so I'm glad they came to us.
Yeah,
But I'd still like, you know, approval of the town council if possible. to
yeah.
Make sure I can go forward with letting
Right,
them know to move forward.
I just didn't know if
Yeah.
they actually had some proposal,
Yeah,
but they don't,
I-
they don't need to.
Yeah.
I know, I understand
Yeah.
that.
And also they're not gonna do it until the road's repaved.
Okay, good. Chris, were you gonna make a motion?
No,
Or-
go ahead.
Okay, I'm not even really sure how to do this because we don't have to give them authority to do it.
No, it's not, it's like, I guess. Oh, that motion.
I don't even, I'm not sure.
It's not,
it's-
it's just accepting
yeah.
their proposal for the rumble strip.
Okay, I make a motion to accept the proposal for rumble strips on Route 101 as presented by Rhode Island DOT.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Any more discussion on that? All good. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, I will contact Steve. Yeah, no cost to the town.
Thank you for speaking with them and getting that information for us, and
Yeah,
it's
one-
nice that we at least have a say in it.
Right, right. Okay, old business.
Mhm.
Building station. So we
Yes.
have,
Yep.
we do have the design development prints. That was submitted to the police building committee. The police, building, yeah, committee that was we just had a meeting. So they submitted the prints. The final budget price is not coming in until the next town council meeting. We are gonna have a police building committee meeting prior to that. But these are just the prints, so we'll be voting on the prints for tonight, to accept them. These are not the construction design final prints. These are just the prints, the design prints that they're putting a cost to. They're budgeting for, which they're gonna present to us the first week of May. All right. May 8th will be our meeting. Yeah, the construction drawings will reflect any changes that may come up. These design prints obviously aren't any changes yet because it's just the beginning. So we do have to vote on those design prints. The town council does have them on Sugar Sync.
They use those prints too to get the permits that they need and it starts.
I'll start the permits, correct? So I
Do you have
I don't have.
these,
the
is this
actual-
the
So it's just.
design
It's
prints?
just the
I see.
print set
Mhm.
documents.
Okay, and this is as
Actually-
presented by New England Construction.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
I-
this right here. Permit set design development.
Okay. I will make a motion to accept the permit set development submitted for the police station submitted by New England Construction.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any more discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that would just allow us to move forward now. Now
Hmm.
they'll start looking for permits.
Get it done.
It's getting close, so.
So did they ever find a recording of the property?
The recording,
Change to municipal?
Change the what?
When we changed the
The zoning.
zoning to municipal,
in the deed.
Yeah.
That was in the deed. I think it was in the deed.
It is, okay.
When the deed was filed.
so how come they couldn't find it?
Cannot find it.
He said he couldn't find it. He went to town hall and couldn't find it. The recorded
Yeah.
document.
They're in the vault.
And a zoning
Of the
change on
zoning
that
change.
piece of property. That's what he's talking about. That it was going to be changed to
He
municipal.
has to have that. to pull
Yes,
the
before we
permits.
can start.
Planning. It's not already written up. Because didn't somebody ask us?
It was
about
like
some
2
sort of
years ago.
zoning, and I believe they were led to believe that they did meet with planning and zoning, and I don't think they did. They didn't know, there's nothing.
Is that going to require, does that require a public hearing for us to change that to municipal?
It was already changed.
I think-
It was
yeah,
just never, it was
We
just
know it
never,
was changed.
not-
We know it was
it just was
changed,
never,
but it was never recorded.
okay. Right.
Okay.
Hmm.
We did find last week the minutes from the planning board meeting. I believe it's April 7th, 2023, no, 2021. But so that we found the minutes that have the planning board approved the zoning change. And those minutes were sent to Joe Walsh, Gordy, and to Sue, I think. I'm sorry, not Carol.
So isn't there, that's a decision that the planning board makes, so that decision needs to be fought, but once we read it.
Needs to be written out and recorded
Mhm.
in the documents at town hall.
Okay,
So.
but there is a official record that was approved. So if there's another step, then I can send it to you. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I think it was maybe 2022. It was still a Zoom meeting.
Yeah, that's,
21.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay, so if you send that to me.
Yeah.
No, huh?
Peter,
okay,
They can write it, you know, and then we can record it,
okay.
and then I can send it to whoever needs it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Easy. Yeah.
the contractor,
Yeah, the contract.
the guy that's working for the contractor, the planner. Whatever his name is. Yeah,
Charles.
I don't want to miss any more beats.
Right,
Yeah.
so that should be
I
the
don't want
last,
to miss any more beats.
okay.
Great.
We missed enough already.
Mhm. Get it done.
So now we got executive now, right?
No, you're a homestead exemption.
Oh, homestead exemption. All right.
Kelly,
My piece of
you're
paper. Kelly?
So what we did was we analyzed what the homestead exception cost the taxpayers last year. At 25%, we added the 52 to 55 new applications. And what that cost, that would have cost about $170,000. In taxation, so obviously, we're not gonna artificially increase the tax rate. So we're going to restructure the homestead to a lower percentage, and the lower percentage that is doable is 23%. Eventually, we'd like to see it at 20% because that seems to be like where their state is headed. I think they wanna cap it at 20% statewide. I think we would be grandfathered in, but regardless, it's just better to start slowly so that in one particular year, nobody's
Getting a
slammed
big
with a higher
increase.
tax rate because of it. So what happens is it artificially inflates the tax rate, so we'd have to go up maybe $1 or more just to cover for the change in the homestead, and it would apply to everybody, so in the end, it would almost be like a wash, so it's just better to decrease the percentage to 23%. And that's what will absorb, so the cost of the benefit remains basically the same or close to it.
So they were just authorizing the change in the, no, it's so hard. for me
The
to see
ordinance
that,
was
right?
written so that we would evaluate the percentage applied
Right.
each year,
Just
if
so,
necessary.
so people are clear, we vote on that,
Just the
but they do
percentage.
not need to
They have to
reapply.
do
I know
nothing
you,
else.
you sent that out and,
Yeah.
and so they'll be
They have to
fine.
do
It's just-
nothing. If they've
right.
already applied and if they're trying to apply now, it wouldn't be effective until next year anyway.
Okay.
So, but of course, if they do qualify, you're better off applying as you qualify rather than wait for the deadline.
Right.
But, yes, everybody would be notified if we were going to.
Mhm.
It was a big lift. We're not looking to recertify anybody for at least a year or two, if not more.
Mhm.
We put a lot of effort into it the first go round, and as I said in the email, that anybody who changes property ownership has to go through the town hall, because that type of thing is recorded, so they already have notice every single time somebody changes ownership.
Mhm.
And they address it at that point in time. If somebody new moves in, the application for the housing, for the homestead exemption is actually in the new packet that they received, that Sue did, that she instituted a few years ago.
Yeah.
Where every new resident gets a packet.
Yeah.
A welcome packet with all information, and that exemption is in.
Is in there.
So I think that we catch the majority. We're not gonna have 1,200 people reapply for something.
So if I make a motion to adjust the homestead exemption, it will be effective.
It's for this tax roll that
So,
we will certify. in
So
June.
July 1st.
so I make it effective July 1st.
We're changing, yes, for the tax roll, it's really for the tax roll of 2024, just the 31st, 2024. That's what you're taxed on in June
Okay, so for a date,
of December 31st, 2024. For the assessed values of December 31st.
Okay. all right, I'll make a motion to adjust the homestead exemption from 25% to 23% for the 2024 tax roll.
It's the 2025 tax roll effective
Oh, so, okay,
with,
so,
with the assessed values as of 12/31/2024. It actually
Okay.
impacts 3 years, so the 2024 assessed values impact the 25 tax roll collected in the 26 fiscal year. So there you go.
Okay, I guess I'm gonna second that.
July. Also,
okay,
anybody who received the Valley Breeze, which if anybody has a copy of that, I need it. But the ad for the financial town meeting was in it, the state required disclosure is in it.
Mhm.
And those numbers were all calculated using a 23% homestead, which was disclosed to the state of Rhode Island, yes.
okay. Well, that's my motion.
Second.
That's all.
Well, got it. Sue's got it.
I got it.
You got it, Sue?
Yes.
Okay.
Any more, any more discussion? Yes, yes.
So what is the percentage now?
25.
25. It was 26.
No, it was 25.
Now it's
Now it's
23.
going to 23. So the tax bill you just, that is due and payable in April was based on a 25% homestead exemption. We're lowering it to 23.
How long does it take to cut the 20%? 5 years?
At the most, 5 years, or if we don't receive any new applications, if things really don't significantly change, maybe we won't change it.
You will get young people coming here, so you will get it yet. But anyhow, I have a question with things before.
Can you turn on your mic? Yeah.
Oh. How do I do it?
Push the button down at the bottom.
My name is Anna, I live here in Boston. I have a question. You were talking about New England construction for the police station, correct?
Yes,
What is the total amount quoted?
we'll have that the first meeting in May.
May 8th.
You will have a budget,
Correct,
budget, correct?
correct.
And then we vote again,
Yes.
So
if you don't like it? If
And we-
it's too high,
The-
how many bids did you have? 1 or 2 or 3?
How many what?
Bids?
Bids?
this
Or
one.
just one?
One.
Just the one?
How can they do that?
Yes, we have a.
Yeah, we have a plan.
They have the plan.
So when can we come and look at the plan?
Yep, you can look at it. They got it in the
Yeah,
town hall.
We have the plans.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Okay. And I want to know what the budget is because I buy nothing without a budget.
Correct. Same here.
Okay.
Thank you. Executive session?
Yeah. I move to go into executive closed session pursuant to Rhode Island General Laws 42-46-5 for discussion or work sessions regarding collective bargaining, contract negotiations, or litigation. According to Rhode Island General Laws 42-26-5A, I'm sorry, -5A2. And to reconvene an open session and further to keep the minutes of said meeting closed and the minutes of all executive sessions held previous to this meeting be closed and remain to provisions of the general laws of Rhode Island 42-46-4 and 5.
Second.
We have a motion and a second and discussion?
Hang on.
Did you vote
Hold on.
on this?
We did, well,
there was a
question.
She said that.
No, she had a question. We never voted on it.
No, I think I voted. Did I vote?
No,
I think, no, because
Again, just in case.
just do it again.
I think I did, but okay.
Before we go into section.
All right, I like,
She said she heard her ask a question and then
Yes.
just got back to it.
Okay, I make a motion to
You already made the motion.
readjust. Okay, just, okay.
we have a
just-
motion and a
all right.
second.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
Any discussion? Any more?
About
All in favor?
homestead. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Just in case you didn't, she said.
No, yeah, you might.
She's like, made a motion and second, and then she asked her question and she.
Right.
Yeah, I think we did.
I think, yeah,
So-
you're right.
She thought
Okay.
you did too, but.
So now we have,
So now I'll second that motion.
James already did.
Oh, James got it? Okay, good. So we gotta vote on it. No, I stopped you.
No, I don't think so. Sorry, let me just vote.
I stopped you.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second
Mhm.
on the homestead exemption.
Yes.
No.
No,
we did
now on
that.
executive
Now we're
session.
on
Oh,
executive.
executive, I'm
session.
sorry.
I stopped you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, now we're good.
Sorry.
Self-regulating.